Hello, YouTube. Hello, Twitch. We're going to kind of leave off where I started the other day and look at my first setup in. Where are we gone? This Assetto Corsa Competizione. Right here. Oh, we can see one of my videos there. There's one of my videos on the product page. Yay! So what we're going to do, we're going to launch this off, get in here to the Oculus VR mode, and we're going to basically take off from where I left off on my last stream, where I got a little bit set up, and we're going to kind of start from that base and work on the sort of methodology, mythology, not mythology, method. That we use method. We're going to say method. Easier that way, yes. Should be coming up any second now. Of course, there have to be problems. My birthday and you should just work. No issues. Work. How disconcerting. Un momento. It's Italian. It wants to be. Oh, here we go. There we go. That's better. I do love the intro music on this, actually. It's nice and dramatic. Nice bit of drama to come into. Right. That's great. So, what are we on? We are looking at setting up something here. I just want to check on different things here. So, people often ask me what video settings I'm using. Well, here's my video settings. Not that it matters for this video, because what we're looking at is car setup. And why do we want to do car setup? Because it makes it more immersive. And we're going to look at each step of the way of how we're doing that. So this is very individual to every individual person out there, really, because everybody's going to drive a little bit different. And every track in here is also going to drive a little bit different. And the way that we're looking at setting up the car here has very much a lot to do with the track that you're driving on. So first things first, learn the track that you're driving on and get a little bit used to one of the default settings of the car that you're going to be driving with. In my case, I'm choosing Spa, which I've got to know a little bit better and stuff like that. Hey, Drago. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, we're going to be driving this lovely Lamborghini here. I like Lamborghinis. They're a little bit of a handful, but I just like them. I mean, look at these things. They're gorgeous. Completely nuts as a car. They really do sort of like show off. Thank you. I'm glad that you are here. So we're going to go over what we were doing with the setup. Now, the basic approach is we go, here's a car, here's a circuit that we know. Let's set the car up particular for the circuit and our driving style. this is what we're going to be using, is the 2019 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. We're going to be doing it here on the Spa, which is quite a complex track. It's got a good mixture of corners, from really fast straights to some fast corners, medium speed corners, real slow corners, braking zones, that sort of like more pickup type of longer sweeping corners where you're constantly sort of like holding the car together. So for me, it's a good track to sort of like do this. It's quite a challenging track. The other thing here is weather can make a big difference to how you set up a car. We're just going to use nice, clear conditions. I'm not changing the weather around. I want to make this as simple as possible on my first stint. Nürburgring's a really good track to do this on as well. It's also one I'm very familiar with, but as there is a video down below of someone whose guides I'm following in the description, that is, video description down below, I'm kind of basing what I'm doing, my setup here, off of someone else's video. So go check their video out as well if you want to know from someone that really knows what they're talking about, because they're a part of the Kunos team. But they did theirs on Nürburgring, and they did with the Ferrari. So I wanted to be a little bit different. I wanted to take their approach and see about applying it and see if I can explain some of it as I'm going on. So first of all, the conditions that we're setting up, there's our car, track, and our weather conditions. Yeah. Then we have how we're going to approach it in terms of setup. So I've set this sprint race weekend up, and we've got two 30-minute stints, two 10-minute qualifying lengths, and then two 30-minute race lengths. And we're going to do starting position qualify, and I've got 20 opponents. I'm not that good, so the skill level is only 88, and the opponent's aggressiveness is 80. The realism, this is important. When we're doing this, we want to make sure our damage rate is at 100. Because if it's not, then we're not getting the same out of the tyre wear, the brake wear, the track degradation, and all of these things that Kunos have been building into this simulation, because there's a lot here. They've got all of the differences between track wear, between the different years, the degradation as it goes on, the surfaces that happen across the tracks, to the cars where you've got flex in the body as well now. You've got proper sort of geometry for suspension, just not linear stuff. It does a load of things with dampeners and rebounders and all loads of math sitting in the background that basically it must have given some of their developers just so many headaches. I appreciate it. So our damage rate is 100%. We've got our fuel tire consumption is enabled. Our tire sets are limited. That's right, we've only got a limited number for the whole weekend, which I can't remember what it is. I think it's 5. Brake temperature, I've got that enabled as well to keep that realism high. And we've got the only thing is we've got the penalties disabled because I don't want to race with all the penalties at this point in time. I'm trying to set up a car, so I've disabled those. Right, let's get on to the track. So the basis of this is we're going to take one of the pre-existing setups, in this case the aggressive setup, so as we come into setup there, we would have taken this aggressive pre-setup and built my own, which I have done, which is saved off here, and I saved off that last time as well. So as we go back into here, oh, I need to click there. We can actually get started. The first thing I looked at was our tires and our tire pressures. You can see that we've got some differences here. So 25.6, 25.6, 24.8, 24.8. Did I actually do that? Let me just make sure. Load save. There, load. That wasn't quite right. So there we go. 25.1, that's better. So now we've got the starting point that I started from before. See, I'm using tire set 1 here, which is dry. My tires have different pressures here to what I found I was getting good results with. That's the first thing. You kind of want to get those operational to a certain area. Then I started looking at the aero. So for me, I changed the front ride height. So I actually added, lowered the front down a bit, added a bit of rake into the car because I wanted to be able to point the car a little bit more into the corner when you've got a speedier corner. Put a little bit of gas down, and I want it to like get rid of a bit of oversteer that was happening. So that's where we've kind of gone to. So you can see there's a base height, so 65 rear, 60 front. Right, we're going to get on here. We're going to warm these tyres up. We're going to see if it holds true that my initial setup is right on the tyre pressures and the heat they're going to be getting. So we're all good for that, and hopefully it's going to all feel nice. I should have remembered the pit limiter there. I hope I didn't go over speed. I don't think I did. Because, of course, this being Spa, this has quite possibly the longest pit lane ever. Yeah. It's so long. And see our tyres down here. We're aiming to have them in a sweet spot somewhere between 26.5 and 28. Much more than that, and they kaputs basically. I found with Spa. Oh, I'm out of the pits lanes here. But let's come out of the pit lane here. I forgot about that. I was too busy concentrating on what I was saying. So we take it easy on this first lap because our tyre pressures are low. They are cold tyres. Our brakes are also low. But of course we want to take a good measure of where our braking acceleration points are. We're not going to push him at the moment. The ideal aim here is to basically get a car that acts nicely in the corners, so we'll have the bit of leeway. I want the clean air. I couldn't be bothered with him standing in front of me there. So we've got to bear in mind where our turn-in points are. Get these tyres a little bit more up to speed. They're still a bit on the cold side. Here we go. They're coming up a bit more now. 27, 26.2. And we want all these pressures to be up quite equal. And already that's feeling pretty good. We can start pushing this a little bit more now. Turning in there. So we're going to run basically our tyres through about 3-4 laps. And basically we're going to do that because the first set of these parts here where they're like 3-4 laps in, they should feel, oh, that was a little lively. That was nice. A little bit of too eager on the corner there. But that was really good fun, I do have to admit. Got me excited. We're going to go one more lap through there. You can see already my back brakes are still cold. Pressure-wise, we're still nice and even. It's still feeling pretty good, though the back tyres have got a lot less pressure in them. Oh, 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 no. And that's the car broken. Right, we're going to have to return to the garage on that. Oof. Turn to the garage. I didn't want to have to do that this way. Hey, JD. Now, JD will know a lot more about this than me. But I just messed up big there. Okay. You can see where our tyres were actually lying there. So 27, 27.5. Make sure my tyres are back to my tyre set 1. Aero here. These rear. Which way do the ducks go on this? I'm not sure if closing or open is more air or less. I'm going to put that to 4 there. Tried to push that a little bit too much in there, and I ended up paying for it. How are you, JD, by the way? Hopefully it's a good day for you. All right. Here's the thing. Have they fixed the car? Or have I lost a lot of time? I've probably lost a lot of time. Okay. Ah. I keep on forgetting about the pit limiter. Though I really did trash out there. I hope I haven't completely wrecked the car. We'll soon find out if the geometry feels completely off or not. And welcome to my 1 day older stream as well. 1 year older stream. Have to say that. Whether I'm wiser or not, I don't know. Hopefully I'll get wiser as it goes on. But we're out of the pit there. So yeah, basically, JD, what I'm doing is trying to go over the whole methodology for trying to get a car set up that works for you. Hang on a second. My actual birthday. It's my actual birthday. So yeah. We're going to bring the tyre speeds, the tyre pressures up to speed basically here. That's what I'm trying to do. Thank you. Yeah, it should be. 20th of January has always suited me. Right. Geometry feels okay. Definitely hurt the car somewhat. But it seems to be holding okay. Tires are coming up into our sort of like set range there. Still a little bit lower on the rear than I would have probably gone for. Need to hold off a little bit on there. I can't go through there full on. So each part of this, I kind of want to build up a picture of how the car handles to what I can do with the car and get it into the ranges where it's going to help me the most to achieve what I can out of my reference zones around here. I was nasty there. If that's a real person driving, I wouldn't have done that. It was AI. I kind of got away with it. So yeah, we've got our car tires kind of even in pressure again. The geometry of the car seems fine. So I'm kind of happy about that. Low speed, it's pretty pointy. I'm kind of happy with that. It's not spinning out wildly with my particular drive style. And I want to basically, I prefer to coast a bit through here. I don't like having to brake. But I don't find that I can add that little bit of extra. So if I played it more cautious like I did there, that I should be able to do okay. And I should be able to put a little bit more onto these. So there's a little bit of power understeer there, a little bit of oversteer. Not too unmanageable for a Lamborghini. You can see here I can put the brakes on a little bit and there we go. Oversteer. That was a mistake on my part. There's a little bit too much brakes, I suppose. Go on. So, yeah, I messed up a lot there. I'm going to restart the session so that I can get that a little bit cleaner. I know ideally I shouldn't be doing this with this method of doing this, but we're going to see where we go there. setup again that we've got is, again, you can see we've got more pressure up the front than I do up the rear. I can probably afford to push that a little bit more. They're not fully coming up to temperature. I know I raised that. I'm going to raise that 2 points each. From what I saw there, it sort of like felt on the lower end, that it kind of went out there, and that could be to do with the tyre pressures still being a bit low. So I'm actually going to test that bump. No, leave that for the moment. Right, I'm not going to change anything more than that. It's 2 little steps there. And hopefully that's all good. Oh. We're going to have somebody behind us straight away. That Lexus. Yeah, you can. It is competitive online. Wah! We're still technically in the pit lane there, so that's allowed to happen. But it's so scary when that happens in VR. So, yeah, it has competitive online. I'm not at the moment because I'm trying to explain, go over, and understand myself. I think it's important when you're trying to learn something to find a method of going over this stuff with not just yourself. I think it's important for me to be able to explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing at different points. And I find that you get to know it a bit better there. But this is basically the single player bit that I've set up. Trying to get a setup for this track, which of course is the beautiful Spa. And this is a Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. We'll not push that too much. Right, whatever's happening with the brake ducts, they're still... cold tires. Right, okay. So basically, I'm trying to get these tires up to speed, work out what my tire pressures are first, then work out from that what's going on with the aero for the car first. After I've looked at the aero, then we're going to look at all the other sort of things like bits like this happening. That's unusual. That was my fault. Fortunately, that's a minor occurrence, but it means I've got dirty tires now. So we're going to look at then tires, tire pressures, aero. Then we're going to look at things like the mechanical. So we'll look at the limited slip diff, and we will look at the roll bars. Then from there, we're going to kind of like move forwards, and I lifted a lot there because I dirtied my tyres. I know they're not going to work. Still concerns me how little heat is actually getting into my brake discs. That warmed them up. That was a bad line. It's okay. Tires are starting to get there a bit now. They should be sort of around their maximum. That was a little bit off the track. That was my fault. Pointing that in. Is it going to go over or not? That's okay. I arrived late there. That wasn't so great. Fortunately, we haven't done much to damage our tyres. Right, this is where our tyres should be at their best, so I should be able to take this pretty good. Did I come off? I think it came off a bit there. I stepped outside of the white line a little bit there. We can get a bit more aggressive there. That's okay. Start to get a little bit more aggressive with it. See how the tyres hold up. See if we can ride that out a little bit more. Yeah, we can push it. That felt quite good. Coming a little bit late there. Gas. Not bad. That felt good. That felt kind of closer to where I'd like it. There was still a little bit of leeway for getting on the gas a bit. I should be able to hold off the gas if I need to. Oh, the back end felt a bit loose there. That back end felt really very fragile there. Okay, car temperatures. Our tyre temperatures are all up to temp. They're looking pretty even. So this is where we really start to find out what's going on with our aero. If it feels good here, then that's where we're looking at. This is the higher speed run stuff, so I want to be careful not to just mess it up or anything. That's pretty clean. Could have been nicer, but that was pretty clean. Temperatures, again, they're still pretty even. Now we kind of need to see where this goes around some of these corners here. Like if I take my foot off the accelerator, it's not doing anything like majorly under. If I put my foot a little bit onto the brake in case there was somebody in front of me, things like that. I want to look at what's going to happen in a race. Whether I can get away with pushing it at slightly different points. I want to be able to dig into these corners a little bit more. Felt like I'd have that power oversteer still happening. Sorry, the power understeer. That is nice. And we went over it. Right, let's remember to go in here into the pits for a bit. Remember where our brake point is, because we need to be below our pit speed before we go across the line. Otherwise, we're going to get a penalty and we're going to be chucked out. So they're all looking pretty stable. They're coming down a bit now in temperatures. Okay. So we're going to return to the garage. Oh, the mouse is getting me stuck there. Stuck? Is that a word? It's not. Stuck is word. Stuck is not. Okay, so what we got here. Returning into the garage. We're going to look at our setup again. We're going to remember that we still want to be on our tyre set 1. We're only using tyre set 1. For now, anyway. Aero-wise, there was a bit where I kind of lost a little bit at the back. We could set the wings pretty high anyway, so we can't do much there. It felt like the ride height, we don't want to put it down or up. If we put it up, it's going to introduce more rake, which is going to slow us down on the length. It felt pretty good at high speed as well. But what we can look at is, say, our mechanical grip. Now, what we're going to look at first of all is our preload differential. So what does a preload differential do? Well, we know that the differential sets off the speed between the drive tires, which are in this car at the back. Of course they are. It's a GT3. They're all at the power down the back. So when the differential is locked up, both wheels are going to spin at the same time. When it becomes unlocked, you can have the inside wheel spin more than the outside wheel. Yeah? So as you go around a corner, your inside wheel, oh, sorry, the other way around, your outside wheel can spin more than the inside wheel. And the preload differential is basically at what point that happens. Because with these tires spinning, they produce like centrifugal force inside the differential, and that will either lock the wheels together so that they both spin in time, or it'll unlock them so that one wheel can spin faster than the other. And that's going to affect how much drive gets put down in terms of directed torque, and how much gets put down together, which makes the back end slippery. Because as you're going around a corner, if both tires are spinning, one of them, normally which side is it going to be? I'm not sure which one, but one of them, I think it's the outside tyre or the inside tyre, I can't remember. Inside is going to lose grip, because the outside tyre will then be the one that is spinning at the right speed for the power to go down. So all the power is going down through both, but it's going to cause an instability, and the whole back end of the car is going to want to move out of place. It's going to become uncontrollable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this preload differential and I'm going to turn it down a little, because what happens to me is I can end up with the back end slipping out a little bit too much under power, and I managed to have that happen a couple of times. I'm going to actually take that down about 4 stops. There's a lot of stops in here, so we got from say 160 to 20. We're not going to do anything that drastic. I'm going to take 4 stops out of there, just so that when I'm on the lower end, I can maybe put my foot on the accelerator a little bit more, just to, and still have some grip there. If it was much higher, lower, we'll see how it plays. And we'll gradually sort of like try and lower that off and see how it plays, and see if I can get a little bit of more leeway in play of how I can put my foot on the accelerator and keep the car under control while trying to get the most forward momentum out of it. I believe that's the right way. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it unlocks. So, I think that's the right way. I hope I got that the right way. Oh, I did do that, didn't I? Tire set 1. Remember that. Right, we've got wear on this tire set is happening now as well, you can see. So, latest readings, wear 29, 29. They're all kind of nicely even. So that's good. Different tracks, you're going to get different amount of wears depending. But our temperatures have been pretty good, so I think we're good there. We're on dry one. We're on dry one. We've got 11 minutes left. Let's get out there. Thing to remember as well, the pit lane, the limiter only works in gear 1. So if you're in gear 2, the pit limiter is not going to work. So remember to shift down into gear 1 before you engage your limiter. Longest pit in the world ever. Did I mention that? Here we go. Limiter off, and away we go. We're going to warm these tyres up again. They're a bit used now, so we're going to get used to how the wear happens. Because not only do I want to see what a car's tyres are going to be like and the tyre setup when tyres are all good and new and fresh, I want to get a feel for what's going to happen as an endurance race goes on so that I can see if I can manage these tyres throughout the whole of a race. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Still pointed. We're not quite up to temperature yet. That felt pretty good. It felt like I could turn in a little bit more there without the back end just wanting to flip out on me. Hey, German Rifter. Welcome to the channel. You're joining me here in Spa, where we're just warming some tyres up, getting them up to operational speed and all that. How's your day? That wasn't the prettiest of corners. That could have been done better. That's reasonable. Tyres are coming up to speed now. Brakes, still, they run rather cold, these brakes here, but turn in nice. I'm just going to push the gas down a little bit more than I would normally do. Just want to get a bit of a feel for it there. Didn't feel unstable, felt manageable. I'm not the best in the world in driving this car, so that was nice. Can point it nicely there. Yeah, that's gripping nicely. So wearing some tyres down. Cool. Hopefully you enjoyed the VR link, which of course is available on Spotify and Anchor as well. For if you can't watch the YouTubes at the time. And oh, round we go. That was not the best of things to do, so still something happening there. Okay, so JD was cleaning his racing rig. Good to keep your equipment in good working order, man. As you know, mine is sort of like a more portable, not a permanent setup, which is why, unfortunately, I don't get to do this as often as I would like. You see, I lost it a little bit there, but was able to gain some control back. Think we might still need to look at what's happening on the lower speed side, so we might want it a little bit more pointed on the lower end. So maybe there's something I can do on the lower end to help me keep it together a little bit more. It wasn't mentioned. Oh. Oh. I know what that is. Thank you, German Rifter. It's a shame because this car has amazing sound. Right, when we come into the pits, as we can see, we've got pretty even tyre pressures going on there. Right, so we've got pretty even tyres. We're going to say return to garage. I keep on doing that. And I need to... That's okay. I forgot to push a button over here. So hopefully you guys can hear that going down the side. You hear those guys now? Good, good. Right, so setup wise, our tyres look good. Our tyres look good. Our aero around the mid to high corners seems pretty good. I'm able to keep the car a good amount more under control there. Where I am having a couple of difficulties is actually on the lower end. So it's still on the mechanical grip. One of the places we could look at this is on our anti-roll bar for the rear. It kind of like feels like the rear just went out from under me somewhere. So we could maybe stiffen up the rear a little. How many stops are there in this actually? Quite a few stops on there. We can stiffen this up a bit. If I stiffen this up, what's going to happen is over the bumps, whatever that happened here, the whole rear of the car and the flex in the car is going to become more rigid. And it's going to be kind of like less prone to I think it's less prone on the slower parts, so it's going to maintain, it's going to be a bit more harsh. We'll see how that works. Past there, it's going to be into the territory where I need more help, and where I'm going to be looking at is basically things like what they've got here as a wheel rate, which is going to be our springs. Yeah. And then past that, it's a look at doing other things like, oh. Yep. Yeah, for definite. Right, I'm going to get back out there with that same set. That's active. Okay. Put on. Yeah, I do think actually Assetto Corsa Competizione has the best sound, full stop. More so than Assetto Corsa Competizione. They've just got it all locked down when it comes to that. It's also differences in some of how the setup, the feel of the car, the force feedback is working that I think really does are the shining parts of this whole simulation. Even more so than Assetto Corsa, and Assetto Corsa was pretty good in my eyes. But I've not experienced, like JD, iRacing. So he may tell me differently. I may not believe him, but the sound is definitely something where I think Assetto Corsa really does pull out all of the stops with Competizione. Yeah, everybody likes how I say competizione, apparently. I like it as a word, though I know my Italian sucks. So I've had to practice saying competizione. But, okay, we need to, we're going to pit. Treat it like it's real. Cool, dude. Okay. So there was our practice session. My lap times, of course, are not going to be great. They'll be dreadful. I'll be so far off of deltas that I just won't be able to imagine. See, there I am, back all the way down here, right at the very bottom. Look at that delta. That's so wrong. That's so wrong. Right. So that's my practice one. I've got to practice two here. Now, what I could do is take the same settings from like my tire sets and move them onto a new tire set. The car overall is feeling pretty good there, so maybe we'll take that again and we'll move in practice 2 and use the new tire set, or I can literally wear it out. The other thing I can do is take the fuel load. So we're going to go say next session. I definitely need to improve those deltas though. Right, we're going to take the setup. I feel pretty good with the car as it is at the moment. I've got a bit more to learn, but we're going to take the sort of like next step and try and look at, say, the different fuel loadings with our tyre setup. So, of course, loading can have a big difference onto a car, because as we adjust our fuel loading, we're also going to be adjusting our ride height. And I've used ride height to affect my aero, because I've actually put a slight forward rake into the car to force the front of the car down a little bit more and give me more downforce overall when I'm in higher speed corners. This is also affecting my top end speed, but gives me more control in those mid to high speed corners, which this has some really scary ones. We can see here on, say, my fueling strategy, it's trying to move me on to tire set 3. We've got that there. I've been running around this half tank of fuel here. So I'm actually going to take a new set of tires. We'll take tire set 2 out. No, no, we should take tire set 1. And we're going to lower that all the way down so that we've got, actually, we need to put that up high. I'm going to put that right to the max So we're going to overload the car first of all. We're going to do a few laps like that on our tyre set 1, which is used and is cold. That's going to be a high... it's going to be a higher... how can I put it? A higher compounded amount of rubber, because it's going to be worn down. When you wear a tyre down, the rubber becomes harder as it wears down. Where it becomes harder, it also becomes warmer when you're running the tyre. And you know, you can feel it more. And with that extra fuel load, it could be bad, could be okay. But I need to find out how it's going to feel in a race and know a difference between high fuel loads, mid fuel loads, low fuel loads on a range of parts for a tire. So we're going to go out with this heavy fuel load. There's other things you can do with that as well, because that's going to affect my ride height. So obviously when you go to, say, aero, a car needs to be slightly different heights. There's a minimum height and a maximum height in terms of ride height that you can run in the race. And they only measure before the race and after the race. So you can actually work your fuel loads out to change these situations a bit, but it also changes what you're going to do strategically. But you should be ready to be able to take any situation into hand, I feel. So we're going to work this with that high fuel load. Tyre set 1 is still there. They're going to be cold at the moment, but they're running nice and even on this track, which is nice. Right. I'm going to drive. Drive set 1. Make sure put the limiter on. Yep. Longest pit stop ever. My own fault for choosing Spa. Should have realised. Should have realised. But yeah, cold tyres again from the start. And see, obviously, there's a bit of wear on them now. Out of the pit, limiter off. Get these tyres up to speed. And then we want to sort of like try and work at what we have there. And immediately, wow. Sorry there, buddy. It was very rude of me there. I should have waited till I went on the track, but I didn't. These not up to temp tires with an overloaded car. Oh, that doesn't feel good. he's taking it easy as well because obviously they've got some cold tires as well. You can see him swaying a bit there. He's definitely trying to warm up a set of tires there. Whereas mine are kind of like coming up to operational speed now. They're into that 27 that I kind of like the feel of here. Yeah, that feels nice and pointed. We're up to temperature. I've got full load. I'm betting they don't. Oh, is that about the iRacing? Cool.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Blipping, yeah. We've had blipping. You get it also in race room as well, where they'll blink. Oh, that wasn't great. Need to adjust my brake point there, so I've now got that difference between what happened there. Yeah, man, I always don't use Wi-Fi. Always have everything hardwired. Whoa! Oh, narrowly avoided damaging my car there. That was epic. That was amazing. I just managed to avoid damaging the car. That was full on 180 straight up like a J-turn, man. Oh. Ah. Right, we can see where this tire wear was getting me a bit as well. See that my rear left is getting a lot more wear now. That's coming up to that 27. Let's see if we can warm these tires up the right way now. So I still need to be able to race through half an hour with the right number of stops. Oh ho ho! See, under load, this is a little bit more. Oops. Damage the front of my car there. Stay off the racing line there. So yeah, under load, this is seeming a little bit more dodgy. Let's try and clean these tires up a bit. Still stick with it for a couple more laps. Try and learn what I can and cannot do with this tire set. $108 litres of fuel. Tyres are coming back up into temperature range a little bit more. Rears are still a little bit. We'll take this easier this time. The rears are still below temperature. I was expecting to be hotter than that. I broke really early there. That was very poor on my part. Loss of concentration there. That felt nicely balanced. That's still okay. That felt okay. That was okay. Transfer is reasonable. Still pretty sharp on transfer. Oh, keep it away from that barrier. Kept it away from the barrier at least, but wow. Okay, these tires are now trashed. So we're definitely going in to swap them. So we full out trash these tires. We'll see what we can do. Right, let's also try and get a bit of a Yeah, I do recommend, if you're not, you know, if you're doing any gaming generally, try to keep like, yeah, any type of gaming like this where you've got competitive or anything else like that, try to use a wired LAN and not the Wi-Fi. But hey, Sims, anything else like that. But you know, there are people out there that use Wi-Fi just because of where their available spaces are. But yeah, for the most part, it's not uh, the most recommended way to do it. Just because you could end up with so much interference, a tiny bit of interference could really ruin your day when it comes to competitive racings. Right, return to garage. So, setup. We'll be looking at our fuel and strategy. We're taking our second tyres out now. We've got our tyre setups all done there. This is going to be a fresh set. Fuel load is like a full load again. And we're going to see the arrow here. So let's see what happens with a full fuel load with nice tyres after our readdressed balance. Then we're going to try and see what it's going to be like with a much more limited fuel load for like a qualifying basis. So we're on dry 2 now. So we've finally come off of our first set of tyres. We found out once they get damaged, the low end is actually where I've got the most problems on terms of grip. So it gets very skittish out of the back. It gets really twitchy, which of course you expect from a Lamborghini, because hey, it's a Lamborghini. But it's somewhat manageable, but it's something to be aware of. Okay, we're past the limiter. Definitely a bit of a bumpy track. Spa has some really, really rough spots on it. Broke a bit early because we're on a new set of cold tyres, basically. Let's warm them up, see if they warm up even. Car's behaving nicely. Yeah, it just feels like you got endless grip now. It feels so planted. Really does feel quite amazing there. Gotta remember, I'm still carrying a full fuel load. My braking zone is not exactly great there. My acceleration is going to be a little bit lower than we'd actually prefer here. We've got a very heavy car here at the moment, so we'll see how we do with this. Not lifting much there at all. It's low. I barely had to take my foot off the gas there. Running the curbs a bit was pretty harrowing though. And push this a bit more harder now. This is where we should have our best grip. Oh, I went a little off there. I was playing a bit of chicken there. That was okay. Could have been nicer out of that. Wasn't too bad though. Nicely across here. And the temperatures are all kind of even around there. We're going to take one more lap. Then we're going to come into the pits and we're going to change things around a bit. This is, you know, this is with the higher load of fuel. Lifted a little bit more than I should have there, maybe. I got that wrong. I got that so wrong. Gotta watch that inside curb a little bit, actually. That can really make you have a bad day, that curb. Some you're really fine touching. Others, depending on the car, it may or may not like it. Around this here, you can usually touch quite well. Bit of balance with the accelerator there to really drive that there. but that felt good. It felt controllable. Again, that all feels nice and controllable in a good predictable point. And we're going to come in for our pit stop now. Remembering to get below our speed and be in first gear before we enter the pit, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. So that's with a high fuel load on a nice clean set. We're on tyre set 2. We're going to stay with tyre set 2 now. And we're going to say return to garage. When we go into our setup, we're going to look at our fueling strategy. We're sticking with tyre set 2. It's relatively new tyre set. What we are going to do though is use this in here in the aero part, this fuel load test. So we're going to put this up. Oh, something to note, take a look at this, yeah? If I disable that, you can see all the ride height. So ride height 71mm, 64mm, yeah? As soon as I put this, boom, 66mm, 74mm, yeah? Our ride height has changed. It's only by a few millimeters, but those few millimeters can make a huge difference in how the car changes. So we're going to say put 15 litres in here, because that's a good amount for just sort of like doing short stints on practice or qualifying, so that we could come in, get a bit of fuel, try and lay down a fast time. Now, the great thing about this fuel load test, when I have this fuel load test in here, it's going to disable the removing of fuel, so I can stay out and I won't run out of fuel. It will keep that 15 litres as a constant. I don't have to worry about it, so I can do that. Okay. Right. Let's do this. We've got 5 minutes. I know I'm going to be well off of Delta because basically I've actually set the AI, the opponent AI, to about 2 levels higher than I'm actually comfortable dealing with. So that's not to my advantage. I'm also getting a bit hot now. But the principle ride's the same. Get your tyre temperatures, get those all up into where you're comfortable with, get your aero sorted out either by adjusting, you know, the ride height and adding rake if you need to, or by adjusting that so that you can actually use the front splitter diffuser or the rear wing. Since we got a lot less fuel, I'm expecting the car to be a lot more livelier on the uptake and certainly a bit more aggressive. pang. Thought I'd tuned that out of it. I haven't, obviously. Yes, that is the truth. The birdie would probably be myself as well. So, of course, the birdie you're referring to is Twitter itself. Okay, tyres should be coming into speed again. We've got that mechanical thing happening again. I've got to watch that. I don't know what it is there on the low side, so that's one for me to watch out for again more. Doesn't seem to be happening badly here, but whenever I'm at certain corners, that's going across. But yeah, German Rifter, it is certainly true. Oh, I chickened out there. Lovely, like it, dude. That's some nice wishes there. May your tires never go flat. I like it. Yeah, we don't want to run out of gas in the middle of race. Though we seem to be coming across some FPS issues today. Bad side of ACC is its graphics performance. FPS issues still to persist in ACC, especially on the VR side. Which is such a shame because, like I say, there is some really great gaming to be had here. Okay, that's the practice times up. Now we've got the qualifier.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Don't we be coming in?
Session is now over.
There we go. Session is now over. Yeah, we don't want to be running out of gas. And we're not. Right, so we've got qualifying. That's the practice thing down. The next parts of this that I'm going to try and look at is trying to find more about where where the faults lie for me, try and pull this down into what I've got here. So first of all, we've gone, what's the tyres like, tyre pressures, get them consistent. Get them into an operational place where we feel the grip is working a bit. Take a look at our mid to high speed corners, how the car feels going in and out of the corner, whether we feel we've got the leeway there to sort of like do anything and move on from there, so that we can go, okay, I'm going to be so far off the delta, I'll embarrass myself and show you just how far off the delta I am with this. Or did I not set anything on this time? Where am I? That should be me. I didn't set one that time. I don't know what's happening there. Strange. Hmm. Okay. So, yeah. Bad in those terms. Basically, we're coming in, make sure our tyres are good, make sure we're getting even tyre pressure across it. Then we're going to look at what happens on the mid to high speed corners, try and work that out in aero because that's going to work out the most. Then we're going to try and look at the mechanical setup a bit more. And we're going to test that out with a range of different things, from the fuel loading and the wear of the tyres. So we've constantly been going back to the same set of tyres and wearing them down, and seeing what happens with different situations under different bits of wear. And that's kind of like where we're going to, you know, how we're going to fine tune this to ourselves and a particular track. So each car track combo, we can build a setup that's unique to ourselves and then just dial in little things. The more we get to know that as an entire process, the more we get to know the other little intricacies as we're going along. But it's always good to have a good solid foundation of what's happening with the car here. Now, I'm kind of half tempted in one way. I'm going to run a qualifier and see how we just do on a qualifier. We'll run a fresh set of dry tyres, and just see if we can get through a qualifying okay. We're looking at 2 minutes thing, so max 5 laps. We're looking at about 5 laps, and we'll go through the qualifier. We won't be doing the pitting, and we're going to use basically a fresh set of tyres and go full out for the qualifier. Just qualifying one session, and see what happens on that. Right. So in on our setup again. The current setup, fuel and strategy. We're on tyre set 3. There's no wear on them. Our tyre setup is all set up. Our aero has been as it was, and I'm going to make sure and save that file now so that I've got that kind of locked in there when I come back onto Spa at another time. Right, I'm punching above my weight, I have to tell you this, on the level that I've set the AI to. They're set 2 stops higher than I'm used to. So, yeah, I'm assuming that they are going to wipe the floor with me. But we'll try it anyway. you don't improve unless you set out to practice a lot and just practice and challenge yourself. So, you know, that's what we're going to do. Right. We're in here. Bump the setup. It should say, right, fuel strategy, set 3. We're good. Tires. They're all good. They're on. They shouldn't have anything on there. $29, $29, $29. Yeah. $29, $29. Yeah, that is a fresh set. Okay, let's do this.
Green light, green light. Go, go, go.
Look at him. He's right behind me. Okay. How is he gaining? We're both on the limiter. So let's see what I can do in lap times. See if I can do okay. We've got cold brakes. We've got our cold tires. They're all fresh. Fuel. Oh, I forgot to change the fuel. I shouldn't do this, but I need to because I forgot to change the fuel. We can't use this now because we're in our qualifier. Fuel strategy, I'm pulling that down. I reckon, was it 6 laps? Estimated fuel, 4 point something, so 440. Somewhere around about, let me see. I reckon we got time for 5 laps. So about 20 odd. So we'll say about 25, 24, 24. 24 is about safe, I think. I think that's okay. German, Rifter, we'll see if I don't run out of gas. And we'll see if my tyres don't go flat for this. And hopefully it all works. Right. Yeah, I really do hope they can get this a little bit more optimized. This is, it does play nicer offline. While I'm streaming, it does take an extra amount out of this. May my crashes all be soft and cause no damage, even when I've got 100% damage turned on. Which I do, by the way. Okay, past the pit limiter. Get these tyres up to operating speed. And the brakes as well while we're at it. I'm not going to do any of the silly stuff on the curbs for this first go round. Okay. Almost lost it there, that was my own fault. Okay, this lap. This is where I have to start making things happen. A little bit later on the break than I was hoping there, but all right, let's see how we do now. And late and over.
Please try to stay on the track.
Straight away, that is stupid. Right, take it easy on this one then. Observe the tyres, you know. Hey Diz, how you doing? Thanks, buddy. Welcome to the stream. We're on a qualifying lap. I've done sort of like a kind of basic setup as I understand it. As normally I usually use this, you know, the presets of the game. Trying to get used to them and all that lot. And I thought it was about time we got a bit more of a deeper knowledge. Right, so we want to not mess up this next lap, basically, like I did this lap right at the beginning. So let's do this properly.
Session is now over.
What? You're kidding. Come on. Ooh.
Some severe damage at the front of the car.
No, the frame rate is not as smooth as normal. I'm having frame rate issues today. And I just totaled this car, and I do mean totaled it. That's not going to be pretty. Yeah, that was not looking nice. So yeah, the frame rate isn't looking as nice as normal today, I'm afraid. I'm having to run an extra mirror. It's ACC, so when you run the mirror so that you guys can see the in-game components that I see, because otherwise you don't normally see them. And this being a stream about setup, it's necessary for you guys to see that. Normally I wouldn't run it like this. I would run it a little bit differently so that I would have a bit of a nicer component there, but that just did not happen as I wanted it at all. That was really bad. But that said, I did actually get one lap time down. My first lap time is there. That is us. You can see, there I am. That's me. Do we want to see the crash? Do we want to see the crash? I think we should see the crash. We should see the crash, shouldn't we? Here I come. we'll be coming up through here. Or down that way, sorry, even. Okay. So we'll be coming down the straightaway, down there, en rouge. And that's where I'm going to have the big crash. Should change camera now. Here we go. There I am all the way back here, entering the first corner. Bam, along there, and then, no? Oh, maybe it's the next one. Here we go, here we go. Should be able to see me go flying off, I think. Down there, across there, I go wide and... Oh, did you see that? Did you hear the crunch? Okay, take care. I'll see you in a minute. Ah. Oh. This poor car. It got so damaged. But let's take a look at what's happening there. So let's play this back. So come over that curb. We touch the grass there. And see the cars wallowing a lot there and just skids out. And they can indeed. Oh, they can. It depends on geographic settings and stuff like that. So at the moment, not so much. But let's just see this again. So we can see, like, here, we come up on this first corner, and I've come up too far. I've touched the grass. As I come over, the car's starting to wallow around a lot. You can see it's under pressure. I was still full on the gas. I felt something coming off. The car's now in, you can see basically where the different tyres have got the grip. I've gone on the brakes here, which is possibly the wrong thing to do, but there's nothing else I can do. And it's straight in there into the barrier. One thing I will say about this playback, I wish I could actually choose a backwards facing angle. But yeah, they can, Diz, you can get damage played in here. Right. That is kind of cool. We saw where I went wrong. I think it's always important to learn your mistakes. That wasn't the car's fault. That was my fault. The car's setup is actually pretty good, but I messed up there. I stepped onto the grass, and with a car like the Lamborghini, it's gonna punish you. It's really, as you saw there, gonna punish you. Thank you, Geisen. It's very nice of you. I shall appreciate the virtual birthday cake. Less calories. I love it. Yeah, YouTube birthday cake's the best. Tastes, well, you can't taste it. It doesn't have any calories, so that's a good thing in my case. Right, let's return to the garage. And we're going to do the next session. But the important thing from that qualifier, apart from me completely trashing my car, of course, and I don't know if the car will be up to drivable because that should be mashed. I did actually set an OK Delta. So I was the Delta. I have stepped the AI up a little bit higher than I would normally dare have them. By about 2 stops up from where I regularly have the AI. So that's good. Apart from me messing up. Next session. Check this out. How cool is this? How cool is it? It's so cool. I do love this about this game. Right, qualifying 10 minutes. We're going to be our teammate here. We've still got a rake there. Fuel strategy, 24 litres. We got 4 laps around the last time. So we're talking... Hey, Joe and Rifter. Obviously, you missed the playbacks, but basically, I think I stepped onto the grass and I messed up badly there. I think we can take the fuel load down a couple of litres. We're doing okay with that. We'll see what we did. I did manage to get a pole position, so we're gonna...
Green light. Go, go, go.
We're out of our car. There we go. So we're in our car. We are ready. Frame rate is really suffering badly today. I mean, like, hella bad. Let me just try and change some of that down a bit. We're gonna... That looks really crappy, but drive 4. I shall hit him up the next time I see him and go, oi. You owe me a pint. I will do that to GT, certainly. I will probably see him at a conference sometime soon. Not sure when the next CGX is. We're going to break a bit earlier here because we don't want to mess ourselves up. Got to remember to get these tyres up to Delta, up to their temperature. That's what that guy in the front of us is doing. Give him some room. Alright, tyres are coming up to closer to operational, not quite yet. Feel the car wanting to go out on me a bit there. Right, we don't want to step onto the grass here. Stay off of the grassy knoll. Yeah? That's how you do that. It's a tricky technical corner, that one. When it goes right, it feels very, very good. But every single time you mess it up, it's like, oh, what the hell happened? He's going for it. He likes riding the curbs a lot. There we go. Good. Wow, when did I put the traction control up to that?
Car on
Let's see how we do. Oh yeah, that was good. Oh, the tyres, the grip, the speed, the performance, it was all there. That felt fantastic. We're faster than the Delta as well. We're a bit behind. That's it. This feels nice. We're up on the Delta. It was almost a full second. Did I keep it in the line? I kept it in the line. I kept it in the line. I was a bit scared there. We're behind the Delta now. But that last lap was like a full second, near a full second up. And now we're a full second behind. So I need to regain a second. That's a different line to what I normally take, but... Ah! I stepped outside of the white line. Oh well, we're heading back into the pits. I think that was good enough for pole. I think that gave me a pole position. So I'm not sad about it. So we're coming back into the pits now. So there we go.
Session is
Oh. You hear that, people? Session is now over. So what did we learn? This is the conclusions. That obviously it's a very nice day. I managed to get through to where I needed there. There's me in the... No, I'm in 8th. So... it's not bad, though. It's not bad. First one, I got that first. Some things happened. Some mistakes were made. I chickened out a little bit here or there. I admit, stepped out of line there. But overall, that wasn't bad. So, as we can see, 8th place there on qualifying 2. It's not too bad. We was less than a second there, so 0.8 off of the first place. And previously we was up on first place, so and was about, I can't remember what we was for qualifying 1. Qualifying 1, we were, there you go, 0.7, near a full second up. You know, that's good going, I think, for me. And then we were 0.8 down, so not bad in balance. What we have managed to do, though, is look at a bit of a process of going, right, start out with the setup, which in this case was the aggressive setup. Look at the tyres, drive how you drive, look where the tyres are doing, what they're trying to do, try and them even out, get them into the right pressures, so that as you drive around the course in your style of driving, that the pressures will equal out well enough. Then see what it's going to happen as you adjust the pressures for how the car's going to behave. Then I was taking a look at aero, how it performs through some of the different parts there. Let's put this in as a replay. There we go. I'm going to change camera. That is so cool. That is so cool. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Right, so we're looking at basically what's happened through that. Then we're looking from the tyres to the aero in terms of how the car is handling for us through coming into a corner, knowing where our brake points are, knowing where we are normally going to have that turn-in point, and across the apex where we're going to be on the gas, off the gas, what we're doing coming out of the corner, doing those as we prefer to drive, but trying to get the car into a comfortable position. So maybe if you put your foot on the gas a little, you're going to get too much rotation or too little rotation. You don't want to be either way. You want that leeway. So using that to find out what you're going to do with the aero first at that point. Then look at the slower corners, see if there's mechanical setup changes we can make to tweak that or make it more manageable. If there's something you notice that you are doing, you know, time and time again, that you can come into it and change it. So we can go, right, okay, there's a change, there's a change, there's a change, there's a change. And that's all going to add up. I'm going to be back with some more of these. Ooh, that went straight through my head. Wow. I'm going to be back with some more of these. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Please leave a like if you did. Cheers, mate. I'm going to maybe have something nice to eat again. I had a nice lunch out and a little bit of a drink and enjoy a bit of, I think a bit of a laze. But I'm actually going to enjoy some more racing as well, off of stream. Wow, that's a great view. But thank you for joining. So please, everybody, thumbs up, comments down below. If you like this type of thing and you want to see some more of it and how I progress in the future and how, you know, how we can all get a better understanding for what's going on with things like car setup in not just Assetto Corsa Competizione, but in other sims as well. I've chosen to look more at car setup in Assetto Corsa Competizione just because I like the way the physics feel, though I do have to admit the game does need a lot of optimization when it comes to graphics, FPS performance, you know, especially for VR. Fingers crossed that Kunos get there with this game and can make it happen. But I think from me, from tonight, we're going to be leaving it there. That's the wrong controller. Where's the other one gone? There it is. Oh. For me, from tonight, I've enjoyed it. I think I've learnt a few things. Ooh, I've learnt that we've got an infinite mirror on stream that you can see. How cool is that? Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Sub button is that way. And a video is going to be up like there. There'll be another one like that way. Good night. May you get those lap times down and all of your setups be easier and faster than mine. Good night, people.